Imagine this. Your city finally gets a Major League Baseball team. You're excited. The stadium is packed. The first season begins. But just 1 year later, the team is gone. Poof. Relocated. Vanished. That's exactly what happened to the Seattle Pilots. So, how did this happen? And what went wrong? Let's dive into the incredible and almost unbelievable story of the team that lasted just one season in Major League Baseball. It all started in 1969, an expansion year for Major League Baseball. The league was growing rapidly, and they wanted to bring a franchise to the Pacific Northwest. Enter the Seattle Pilots, named after the city's aviation history. But from the very beginning, things didn't go quite as planned. Seattle's chosen stadium, Sick Stadium, was old and undesired. It was supposed to be expanded to seat 30,000 fans, but construction delays and poor funding meant the stadium was only able to hold around 18,000 people by opening day. Not exactly the grand start the league was hoping for. Despite the stadium's issues, the Pilots took the field for the 1969 season. Led by manager Joe Schultz, the team was a mix of cast-offs, rookies, and journeymen, an underdog in every sense. On April 8th, 1969, they played their first game, a 4-3 win against the California Angels. It was a promising start, but things quickly went downhill from there. The Pilots finished the season with a 64-98 record, placing them last in the American League West. The team's play wasn't also the only issue. Sick Stadium, as expected, wasn't ready to handle a Major League Baseball season. There were complaints from players about the poor facilities, bad sightlines for fans, and overall disorganization in the front office. To make matters worse, the team was bleeding money. The ownership group, led by Dewey Soriano, was quickly running out of cash. Seattle simply wasn't ready for a Major League Baseball team. And by the end of 1969, it was clear that drastic changes were coming. After just one season, the Pilots' financial situation hit a breaking point. Dewey Soriano tried to keep the team afloat, but by the spring of 1970, they were bankrupt. Enter Bud Selig. Selig had been trying to bring a team to Milwaukee ever since the Braves left town in 1965. Seeing an opportunity, he purchased the Pilots out of bankruptcy, and just 6 days before the 1970 season, the team was relocated to Milwaukee, becoming the Brewers. The move was so last minute that the players didn't even know which city they'd be playing for until the very end of spring training. Imagine that, leaving Seattle as a Pilot and showing up in Milwaukee as a Brewer, practically overnight. Seattle fans were heartbroken. They had waited so long for an MLB team, only for it to disappear in a flash. But the city wouldn't stay without baseball for long. Though they only played for one season, the Seattle Pilots left a lasting legacy. In fact, their brief existence is still remembered in surprising ways. First off, Jim Bouton's famous book, Ball 4, a baseball classic, was written during his time as a Seattle Pilot. The book exposed behind-the-scenes stories of the team and baseball culture that were never talked about publicly before. It's one of the reasons the Pilots are still remembered today. Also, without the Pilots' quick failure, we wouldn't have the Milwaukee Brewers. They've gone to become a successful franchise, but their history is deeply tied to the Pilots' short run. And of course, Seattle got the Mariners in 1977, securing baseball's return to the Pacific Northwest. The Pilots might have had a short chapter, but they paved the way for what would come later. So there you have it, a forgotten story of the Seattle Pilots, a team that barely made it a year, but left behind a lasting legacy. What do you think? Would the Pilots have succeeded in doing things if they handled it differently? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into baseball history, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Had to get away from all that toxic energy. I've been out the way, but I still know they feeling me. I feel like a god, I'm talking about the